Am I the a-hole for agreeing with what my sister accused our mom of? When my sister and I were about 10, me, and 12, our mom went back to work. She met this guy called Mark and the two of them became very close. After a couple of years we started to question if mom was having an affair. Our dad suspected she might be. It was a big conflict in our parents' marriage. Maybe it wasn't a full-blown affair. But even dad suggested if it wasn't a physical affair, it was an emotional one, and I tend to agree. Mom and Mark would get very flirty with each other and she invited him to everything as a family. My dad and Mark did not get along and Mark used to tease dad that he was so uptight and possessive to be so bothered by harmless flirting. Mom would fight to have Mark included in stuff because dad didn't want him around. Our parents' marriage was never the same. They even separated for a while but got back together. When I was 19 my dad passed away from a brain aneurysm. Mark was at the house right after it happened and Mom even had him sit with us during the funeral. She told us he was her best friend despite the fact her other best friend, someone we all loved, was not asked to sit with us. This was my mom's lifelong friend Abby. Abby claimed Mom saw Mark as a brother. 2 years later Mom announced she and Mark were a couple. It didn't come as a surprise, but my sister and I didn't really like or truly support the relationship. We said nothing. But Mom picked up on it. She noticed it more apparently when they got married 18 months later. Now they have been married for almost 3 years. And the whole thing became a heated debate because my sister is getting married and really hasn't included Mom in anything wedding related and has made it very clear when asked that Mark has no role in her wedding at all. This led Mom to confront my sister about the change in relationship, and my sister told her she just sees her relationship with Mark as proof that they were never just friends with a sibling bond. She said people don't date people they have a close sibling relationship with. My sister told her she didn't believe they never had an affair and she basically showed dad disrespect by getting with Mark. She said moving on with anyone else would have been different. But Mark was a slap in the face to our dad. My mom came to me after her fight with my sister and told me my sister had made accusations against her and Mark and especially her, and she wanted to know if I thought the same thing of her. I said yes. I told her I wasn't entirely convinced she and Mark had a physical affair. But I refused to believe it was not an emotional one, and it did change how I saw her and did make me feel not great about her marriage and current relationship with Mark. My mom said it was an awful thing to accuse her of, and how could both of us have such a low opinion of her when she was a great wife to dad and a good mom to us. She told me she hated that I support my sister's accusations when the two of us used to be so close. Am I the a-hole?
She's in the wrong. Why would you marry someone you see as a brother? She was probably also having a physical relationship with Mark. ID put money on it ATP because she's so defensive. She couldn't have been so oblivious to how it looked to everyone else all those years. To you and your sister, she's going to get a rude awakening when you and your sister stop talking to her. Not the a-hole. I'm sorry your mother acted like that for most of your lives. Good luck to you and your sister.
That's what we can't figure out. Maybe she was trying to convince herself of that if she felt bad, but that goes out the window when she became romantically involved with Mark. Who can flip that switch so easily? I know it could be argued that 2 years can change a lot, but going from he's my brother to he's the dude I want to date is just such a big leap that it's impossible not to side-eye the whole thing.
If your mom harasses you any further, tell her she spent 9 years tormenting your dad by flaunting her affair in front of him. Ask her in what universe that qualifies as being a great wife. Ask her in what universe making you 2 kids watch her tormenting your dad for 9 years qualifies as being a good mom.
Not the a-hole. You were honest and told your mom the truth. Why would you lie? Your mom and dad had many fights about this very thing, which threw your young life in turmoil. The worst thing about it is the man wasn't a faceless person. She brought him around your whole life. Now she married him. There are bound to be bad feelings because it looks like your dad was right. Why would you lie to make your mom feel better when she didn't give you kids the same consideration?
Yep. Him being around for birthday parties, family BBQs, graduations, etc. was awful. My sister and mom actually fought over his inclusion at my sister's graduation dinner. Mom just repeated he was family and couldn't be left out. But we hated it.
I hope you remind your mom of instances like these when she acts confused about the status of your relationship and your feelings about her husband going forward. She has been forcing this man on you and your sister for most of your life. Not the a-hole, open.
Not the a-hole. They were flirting while your dad was alive and he was not comfortable with it. That alone was so disrespectful to your dad. Physical or not, they started their affair right there and they never were just like brother and sister. Your mother cannot really believe that. And just because your mother waited 2 years to make their relationship official and marry her AP means shit, in my opinion. This marriage is, as your sister said, a post-mortem slap in your dad's face. And your mom's ongoing affair with Mark downright negates her claim that she was a great wife and a great mom. She not only cheated on your dad openly and blatantly, she also brought her AP into the family. What a fact. If I were your sister, I wouldn't have invited promoted AP to the wedding. I would even doubt that I wanted my mother there.
Invites haven't gone out yet, so she could still choose not to invite them at all.
Cut contact. She fucked up your childhood. She doesn't get to fuck up your other events by including herself and others you don't want there.
Am I the a-hole for sleeping in on my girlfriend's birthday? I, male 25, have been dating my girlfriend, female 22, for about 2 months and she got extremely upset with me after sleeping in on her birthday. We agreed to have her birthday at my house, inviting all her young college friends I don't really trust yet and even having her DJ friend come, despite noise concerns. I agreed to it because I wanted her party to be special and she had no other option. I spent 9 hours straight cleaning my house top to bottom in preparation and even made edibles for the party. Last week I had to fly out for 5 days on a business trip. They ended up scheduling it on top of her birthday after I agreed to host it. I fought to rework the entire project schedule and got multiple other people to change plans just so I could be back in time for the day of her birthday and then the party the next day. This trip turned out to be one of the most mentally taxing projects of my career. Both flights in and out were red eyes and the work required me to do everything late at night, as late as 6 a.m. on a few nights. I worked 62 hours and got average of 4 hours of sleep per night in a 5-day span. One night I only got 1 hour of sleep before working 12 hours. I stayed in sketchy hotels, got an eye infection, and even ran into my bipolar ex that emotionally traumatized me. Needless to say, I was drained mentally and physically. I took the day off after I got back so we could hang out on her actual birthday. She spent the entire week with her mom shopping and hanging out. We never agreed on a specific time or even plan on what we were doing. I woke up early to a work call to fix one last thing from the project, said good morning to my girlfriend and we talked about getting coffee at some point. My body just couldn't physically stay awake anymore and I ended up falling asleep for more 3 hours. Finally I get up, get her some flowers, and head to her place to take her for her favorite lunch, see a movie she wanted, and get her favorite cake. When I got there, she was extremely upset and crying really hard because I slept too long. When I tried to explain, she dismissed my sleep deprivation because she doesn't get good sleep in general and said welcome to my life. She didn't thank me for the flowers, lunch, movie, or cake. I felt like I have been giving 110% to everyone and everything and yet I'm still getting yelled at. It brought back feelings of never being good enough and walking on eggshells that my traumatizing ex gave me. She even told me later that negative reinforcement works better.
This is a very obvious case of breakup ASAP. You don't need this in your life. If she is like this after 2 months, she will make your life a nightmare. Find a nice, well-adjusted girl.
The negative reinforcement works thing is a major red flag.
That and the clear emotional manipulation and dismissiveness.
Not the a-hole if you believe that you did everything in your power and your girlfriend doesn't care much about you even after you changed so many things just to be able to be back for her birthday. Intelligent people understand that you can plan whatever you want, but reality can bring changes at any given moment. And it is all about willingness to find the best solution. You tried it and she didn't appreciate it at all. You have to figure out if she is someone that you really want in your life or not. You choose who you build relationships with, so choose wisely.
Not the a-hole. Mutual understanding is necessary. She should really try to comprehend what happened to you if she wants you to see things from her perspective.
Not the a-hole. A good partner would be empathetic. She seems to be very selfish. Have a conversation about how you feel and your boundaries, and if she doesn't respond with compromise, then it's time to leave the relationship, as that's not a good sign for a LTR or marriage.
I don't think she's going to change. OP needs to break up with her, because if she's like this so early into the relationship, it will only get worse. It's a huge personality flaw, not something that can be fixed with a conversation. It will only change if his girlfriend makes that realization herself.
What do you think of these stories? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel for more interesting stories.